Today's meme of the day is
1A! 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 1A!
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lads Discuss Death Battle. I am back in town and joining me, celebrating me returning is Mate.
It's time to discuss Death Battle.
And probably not as happy to see me as Sean here.
Oh man, after an intro like that, an outro probably won't be necessary afterwards.
Mate's intro was better.
Oh
anyway,
shit.
But god damn it, Sean.
I've been sitting on that all week.
Sean, at least let 5 minutes go by before you swear, you f***.
Hey, look who's talking.
Well, I'm English, I'm allowed that excuse. But yes, if you've not seen the latest Lads debate people, link in the description down below. Hey, I'm back doing Lads Discuss Death Battle. I was replaced by a Scottish. That was truly the most evilest thing these guys have done when I'm not around.
Not for the first time.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But yeah, we're here to discuss the latest death battle between Dante and Clive. You know, the guy from Tekken. Also starring Dante from Devil May Cry. Discussing the next time, which I'm definitely certain two people here are excited to talk about. And as well as a special third topic that's kind of death battle related. Not really. But still watch it because it's a funny story. Before we get to the death battle though, some comments from the last two episodes. First one from Torrian, and this was discussing a certain thing that Sean promised. Well, someone's about to pay me I'm assuming this is World of Warcraft text.
Yep.
Yeah, expansion money, loads pencil gun, and I'll put it on screen. Wow, Torrian was committed.
I can't believe someone actually did it.
Do you know what? Torrian's that sort of person where you will just say like a stupid idea and say like, I bet no one will draw this, and Torrian's just like, nah fam. Just like, I still remember when he made like all those art pictures for all our D&D characters for Curse of Strahd. I was like, damn man, you work fast.
Bro, he did that blade art in like less than 24 hours.
And here I am.
He wants his money, man.
And here I am. I could barely draw a thumbnail for my Among Us videos. I'm still proud of that one of muscular Z-Dog chasing me. From Yang the Insane, video starts and y'all roasting my comments. I don't really get that. What I even rewatched the opening. When did you guys roast her comment? I think this was to do with...
I don't know. I think Meg was just brushing it off as a joke, and that, I guess, is a roast. I don't know.
Yeah, like, yeah, because that's what I was saying. Like, I'm assuming this has to do with, like, when... Like, actually, I did kind of want to call it out, but obviously I wasn't here for it. Like, regarding, like, Mate being the most negative about the episode. I will admit, Mate wasn't the most talkative during that review, which did surprise me while I was editing that video. But I wouldn't say he was the most negative. Like... You know, I'll definitely say I was probably leaning more to the negative when I was criticizing the explanation. Obviously, most of the episode is fantastic. I just felt as though there was a bit of bias towards, like, you know, trying to upscale Ruby a bit more than she realistically should. So, to be honest, Yang, if I was actually on the last episode, I probably would have been the one roasting your comment more. So, there you are. Maybe she saw the future. Maybe this is a comment from the future.
Audible gas. Twilight Zone music.
Like, maybe that's what it is. And last comment from Reese. After hearing about the matchup from the next time, I decided to pick up and give Final Fantasy 16 a try. After finishing it, not only gave me more hype for the episode, it's probably up there as my top 10 favourite video games. And with the debate, it feels as though it could go either way. Bad I'll be rooting for Clive, but betting on Dante. Also, Sean, that edit is 10 out of 10. Poor Steve, man. Just can't catch a break even when I'm not available.
He tried using a fake name and everything, but mate didn't believe him.
Do you know what?
I'm sorry about the copyright claim you got.
Indeed. Actually, I managed to dispute it, and the copyright is no longer there. So,
Oh, nice.
Yay!
I still got copyright for the first episode with the music though. Like, god damn you, Sean.
The server loved the music choice.
I mean, I'm not saying the music was bad. I'm just like, you got to realize sometimes the most hard hitting music is copyrighted. Just saying. But do you know what? It is actually kind of sad that not as many people really know about Clive until he was in Tekken 8 and stuff like that. And I'll get into more why, this will probably go into me talking about the controversy around this episode regarding the outcome. But yeah, Clive was definitely dealt a bad hand, not by Death Battle, but by Sony, which we'll get to later. But yeah.
So, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. But yeah, people, thank you for your comments. If you want shoutouts like these, just leave comments under the videos and hey, join our Discord. We also get up to just casual hangouts and we just talk about random bollocks. But speaking of random bollocks, let's talk about this episode, Torrian's return episode. And yeah, you know what? This is
What a return.
Yeah, you know what? Before the fight though, the actual episode itself was a very solid episode.
I like it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's in my top 5 this year. If we were just talking about the analysis and the fight, if we were just talking about just the fights themselves, oh yeah, this fight is definitely up there as like one of the best. As an episode in whole though, there is to be desired, but obviously most of my critiques will come into, the explanation as well as like, well, I guess we're going to get into the first aspect. Let's talk about Dante's analysis. This might be a hot take from me. I thought it was just fine, like compared to like Dante versus Bayonetta. I definitely feel as though the humor side was lacking, which is something I don't really want to say for Dante's analysis. And I thought as though the editing was a bit, in general, I actually thought the editing for both analysis was like simple. I don't really want to use simple, but like it didn't seem as flashy as some of the past episodes this year.
I can understand that. Maybe it was like in a way the editors didn't want to take away from everything, like the fight, especially, like how hype people were getting for that one.
Yeah, like when it actually shows the manga panel of like Dante and Virgil looking at the burning house. Also, I don't know why when I saw that burning house manga, I just wanted to Photoshop that girl meme, the one where she's standing in front of a fire smiling. I just want to put that in the corner now, just. Like Dante and Virgil like traumatized seeing their house burning. You just have that little girl just smiling in the corner. But the other aspect I wanted to talk about with the negatives I have with Dante, there's only a few negatives, that's why I'm getting them out of the way immediately. Did anyone feel as though Dante's story was just kind of just brushed, like for the first minute? They were like, demons exist in this world, but there's one person that fights against Dante, and they just literally skipped. Like, they still explained his origin, like, talking about Sparta, but it's like they just, like, went over it so quickly just to get to all his abilities and weapons immediately. Like there was no build-up to regeneration compared to, like, the last episode that he was in.
For someone like Dante, I can understand why they want to simplify the story, because, like, there is so much gear and abilities that Dante has had, because Capcom was like, hey, rule of cool.
Yeah, like actually,
I mean, yeah.
It's just like you have so much to cover in so little times, and obviously you can only make the episode as long for certain things.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. They even just kind of like rush over some of his impressive things, like tanking a punch from that Colossus guy with ease, and also like just being impaled constantly. It's just something that's just really glossed over so quickly at the start. I want to say at the start, like, and also, I just want to throw this fun fact for both you guys as well as viewers. Not many people might know this, but originally Devil May Cry was going to be a Resident Evil game.
I think we talked about that last time.
Oh yeah, you guys did. Damn it! I wanted to be the one who said that fact. I'm the Resident Evil guy!
Too bad.
But yeah, originally Dante was meant to be like Leon and... but they realized it was going to a bit too much supernatural stuff, and Resident Evil likes to be very grounded. Chris, stop punching that boulder. I'm trying to make a point. Tries to be very grounded in its realism of their monsters.
Chris, and then you've got Wesker.
Yeah, but then eventually, you know, because it went so supernatural, they were just like, no, let's just make a new IP from this. But yeah, I will admit though, even though I did sound a bit negative regarding the analysis of the opening of Dante's thing, I will say they didn't do him injustice though. They still showed off his like very charismatic personality as well as his very. You know, this is what I kind of love about Dante as well. I'm not sure if I brought it up in the past. Dante is a full-on dork, but because of what he does is like seriously, if any other hero was to do this in stories, it would be cringe. But because Dante is such, in a way, a relatable person and stuff like that, and as well as like, because he actually has skills behind him, he can get away with doing the most cringiest of things. Like him doing the freaking Michael Jackson dance. Like, if we saw anyone else doing this, even someone like Spider-Man, that would just be cringe. Because it's like, this is...
Oh yeah, look at Spider-Man 3.
There we are. But because we know what type of character Dante is, because he doesn't take anything seriously and he's a massive goofball, he's allowed to get away with it. It's both cringe and cool at the same time. I think that's why people love Dante, because he is cringe, but he kind of owns it.
He does his own thing and he does it well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I actually introduced my girlfriend into like Devil May Cry with the recent anime that came out. It's a bit, you know, they did some weird changes regarding the story, but still a very fun anime. But I decided, you know what, Bernie, you need to. I'm just going to show you loads of cutscenes from the games, and we just watch like the playlist. Like, if you were to go on YouTube and you see compilations, most of the times you'll see Dante mocking his enemies, Dante being cringe but funny, and stuff like that. And the bit that had us both rolling was when that giant fiery demon guy is there, where, you know, his flames incinerate. You see Dante's down like, whew, that's nice and hard. Like, that killed us, like, when that appeared. Because, like, yeah, this guy's literally fire that is more powerful than the sun, and Dante's just chilling on his tail, like, demeaning him. Yeah.
Dante is just having a good time.
And I even just love how, you know, they showed off Dante just casually killing the gods of his universe with just shooting them in the face with no effort. Like, again, showing his personality. Like, Dante, at the end of the day, is doing a job. He's not your typical, the world's about to end, we must save it. He's like, look, man, he's trying to make a paycheck.
Am I getting paid to do this? What?
Including
sure, why not?
off-screening Satan.
Yeah. As well as doing a little dance afterwards. Actually, also, this is something...
Yeah. So I have a friend who doesn't like Devil May Cry, but he like knows of Dante, and he didn't know the hat was a weapon. I told him that, and he's like, "Are you serious? What is this series?"
It's Capcom when they're fun, you know. Remember when they tried to make Devil May Cry a serious, edgy like game? Nah, I don't either. I think that must have been like an alternative reality.
Dear God.
Oh man, I still remember the hype when Xbox announced Devil May Cry 5 at their showcase, and people were like cheering. And then obviously Capcom had to show Dante at the end because it was mostly Nero in the trailer. Then as soon as they showed like old man Dante, is he really an old man in Devil May Cry 5? I think he's kind of more like.
Yeah, and that fella lists that he's like in his 40s.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was Maximilian when he reacted to that. They all cheered just because of Dante's got a beard. No joke.
Also, actually, before we get on to more about Dante and even Clive's analysis, I'm not sure if you guys know this. So, I've always kind of wondered this, because after the Dante versus Bayonetta, because I played a few of the games as a kid, but I always wondered, like, where did most of his weapons go, and why is Death Battle including them? I mean, obviously, as I've gotten on, I realised, oh, they're including them because it just feels wrong to reduce Dante's weaponry. But it actually sounds like the reason in most new games Dante doesn't have most of his weapons is because if he's not getting enough contracts, he has to sell them just to earn enough money to keep his business. And I'm like, this guy is going to freaking pawn shops just to pawn off, like, like these godlike weapons.
We get to Devil May Cry 6. Hello, Dante. What are you trying to sell this time? This hat that makes you dance like Michael Jackson. Give you $100. Sold.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine like seeing Dante like, all right, what are you bringing for us? there's this thing called Lucifer where you fire unlimited laser daggers that explode.
Best I can do is $25.
Make it 15. Okay.
Sold.
Okay. Let's be real. Dante would be that sort of person that when he's trying to bargain, he would lower the price than what he's offered, and the guy's just dumbfounded, like, okay. But yeah, like overall, Dante's analysis, like, it starts off just rushing through his story and stuff like that. But I definitely knew I was going to enjoy it because, again, with my girlfriend, because she only knows about Dante through the compilations I showed and the anime. As soon as she saw just how powerful Dante gets afterwards, like casually killing gods and, you know, becoming a demon lord, she was just like, wow. I'm just like, yeah, Devil May Cry gets weird.
Yeah, and killing universe busters.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you know what? Like, that's the reaction. Ever since I started introducing my girlfriend to other death battles as well, I've just realised how much more fun from, like, a casual viewer's perspective of them realising just how powerful these characters are, because, you know, I know more about Dante than Bernie does, but from an outsider perspective, she's just looking like, okay, he's that funny Deadpool knockoff guy, but it's like, no, you know, he's actually kind of cool and badass and powerful and funny.
Oh, just wait until the next episode.
I know, right? But yeah, just overall, I think they did do Dante justice. One of my fears was that they were probably going to lean too hard on, like, the more serious tones, because I've noticed that with some of their comedic characters, they do try and go a bit more serious as they're about to wrap up their analysis. But I do like the fact they still kept sort of idea that Dante, through and through, despite his traumatic start, he is a goofball and everyone loves him, and I seriously cannot wait for Devil May Cry 6, man. Like, please let it be a co-op game where you can play as Dante and Virgil. And please don't release another Devil May Cry mobile game, Capcom. That's not what people want.
Oh, you know, if they had, like, combo moves, as in, like, moves that player 1 and player 2 have to do in unison, and then it does, like a cool animation between both of them.
Oh, they had to recreate that freaking pistol cross shot that they do. But
Ooh, that could go hard.
yeah, just overall though, like, you know what, Dante's analysis was pretty solid. I don't want to say it's an improvement over, you know, Dante vs Bayonetta's analysis. I felt like that one had more humor to it, whereas this one had a bit more what the F moments, you know.
Right.
What would you guys say? Do you guys have any says before we go to the Clive?
Yeah, I like that.
I think they did really good with Dante's analysis, reintroducing him without trying to overly darken this comedic character.
Yeah, what about you, man?
Also, hey, according to Death Bow, Virgil is no longer wool level.
Hooray, he got upgraded to at least building level.
Actually, do you know what? Before we actually do move to Clive, actually, I just want to do a call out for this, all right? And I know I'm probably digging up some old drama I had years ago on a Discord server. I can't remember if it was battle mode or, I don't know, like another versus server. But at one point with Proboscis, because he was debating, I think it was Virgil versus Adam, and, you know, let's be real here, like, Virgil should absolutely stomp the hell out of Adam. Adam from Rubio should be...
Oh, yeah, like, we all know that.
But he was very insistent that Adam could beat Virgil. I'm not sure if he still thinks that now.
Oh, absolutely not.
Probably not now.
No, but when... I can't remember what age I was. I was definitely still, like, nearing college, or I think I was just leaving college. I was arguing with him, like, no, like, Virgil is on par with Dante, who's defeated gods and stuff. And he always tried to say, those guys are just titled gods and stuff like that. They don't actually, like, do all this sort of crazy reality stuff. This episode felt good saying all that, because I want to wonder, like, because even bro, he was representing Dante in his Proboscis cast, and he was full on pushing that Dante is definitely on par with universal characters. Oh my god, I felt so cathartic, and he probably doesn't even remember this, to be honest, but oh my god, if he does remember, I'm going to be like, mate, I told you this, like, over 5 years ago. I'm just saying.
It's the biggest I told you so ever.
Like, I feel so cathartic about it. Is this just me stroking my ego? Absolutely, but if I ever get into another voice chat with Proboscis, I'm gonna literally be like that one guy from the episode of Doctor Who. I told thee, soul. I told thee. But anyway, mini rant.
Yeah, I do want to ask.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Something regarding, because I've seen some people like complain that Dante wasn't given Yamato, and I'm just like, it doesn't really matter.
No, and also
Yeah, like a single weapon isn't gonna make or break the debate.
Especially since, his opponent does it this same exact thing.
yeah, they even parried that joke when they were talking about Clive's analysis. Which, speaking of, oh man, I was really, in a way, I was annoyed I was going to Benidorm when this episode was coming up, but at the same time, I am kind of like, okay, let's be real here. As much as I do like talking about Death Battle, a time in the sun with my girlfriend, a fight between two fictional characters, yeah, there's a very clear, obvious winner. And I didn't choose that, sadly. So
Running from the bulls, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, sadly, I chose the wrong option, so I'm going to regret that for the rest of my life. But yeah, so Clive's analysis. This might surprise some people. I am actually quite a fan of a few ARPGs or JRPGs and all sorts. I just don't play them as often, especially on my channel, because those games are not like a 5 or 8 hour game.
Yeah, they're more like 100.
Yeah. Now, I never got introduced to Final Fantasy through Final Fantasy VII like most people. I just kind of... like, have you guys ever just been on like the Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation store and you just saw like this anime sort of themed game? That's... a lot of these like RPG games can be for reasonable prices. Some of them, obviously Final Fantasy doesn't really reach those, but... like... I'm trying to remember the wording of this one game that I've recently played on Game Pass, but it's called Chronicles 100 Heroes.
Like Eldwin Chronicles?
Eldwin, I think. I'm trying to remember how you say that first name, but it's like, yeah, I'm really into those sort of games. And at one point, I did eventually see Final Fantasy 16, and from the gameplay, I was like, this doesn't look like the typical Final Fantasy. And I saw it for offer in my local shop, so I thought, yeah, well, I'll get it, and, I'll see how much fun I had. If you ever wonder why certain videos, like, last year that got, like, delayed and stuff like that, it might be because I was playing a lot of Final Fantasy 16. So it's like, hey Bill, when are you getting that lads debate out? The what? The lads debate that we did? Oh yeah, that'll be ready 2 weeks. It's like, Bill, you said that last month. I'm like, yeah, sure. So
I'm gonna go back to petting the doggo.
So yeah, when Clive was actually announced for the next episode, I was gutted I wasn't gonna be able to talk about him, but also excited. It's like, yes, Clive's getting into Death Battle. Let's freaking go, because he's a really underrated character and. Oh, there's a reason why he's underrated, but let's of course talk about the analysis before I rant about PlayStation once again. Yeah, I had to actually ask this, like, what was your guys' reaction just seeing Clive's origin story? Because Final Fantasy's dark, we rarely ever see bloody dark.
I was familiar with the story, so that's a question for me.
Okay, yeah, good point, actually, yeah.
I mean, I got told about it, like, leading up to the episode, and... dude, screw Clive's mother.
Exactly.
Not in that way.
In fact, actually, no, this will speak volumes. I've spoken about this with Kier, and of course I've said, like, mother, and I just go, not in that way. And this is Kier saying this, and I quote, dude, I wouldn't.
That really does say something, actually.
Yeah.
For newer viewers, Kier's basically someone in our Discord who's the massive gooner that we have on there. Yes, he's even a bigger gooner than Yang the Insane, and trust me, if you know Yang the Insane, that says a lot.
Bro, we gave him a body pillow in the last portrait. The f*** are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying, like, he's a bigger gooner than Yang. But yeah, like, obviously, his mum does have a key factor in the story, but I bet even my first time playing this game, seeing someone being beheaded on Final Fantasy was just, especially with blood splatter, because usually like a lot of these RPG-like games that are meant to be sold for everybody, they'll probably have someone get decapitated, but they'll kind of do it off screen. Like, you see the sword slash, and then you just see the body fall forward, but you get the implication, like, that guy's just lost his head. In this game, though, they were like, no, there's going to be blood squirting, and it's going to even go on Joshua's face. It's like, oh, God.
We are making trauma for this little boy.
It's like, what age rating is this game again? Oh, only 16. This is like my reaction when I saw the age rating for Fire Emblem Three Houses, when the game literally opens with someone being stabbed to death. I'm like, 16, huh? Right, yeah. I'm starting to think.
And then there's And then there's a movie that has people's faces melting down to their skull, and that's a PG.
Man, it's like video games are like trying to remember, like, oh yeah, kids can, won't be as scarred from these like most people would be. Like, it's even crazy, like, just...
Video games are like... I was about to say, video games are like, parents, you're responsible, not us.
Yeah. But, even just going into that, though, one of the things I also loved about Final Fantasy 16 is, like, because they could have easily made Clive the most edgiest bastard out of all this. And, I'm just going to give a kind of a shout out, but kind of a cuss out for a certain D&D player. Fireball's character Sho comes off as someone who's overly edgy. And, given his traumatic past. And the reason I say it is because when you kind of compare, like, Clive's story to, our fellow D&D player, you would imagine Clive would probably be more on that sort of scale, just being this edgy person that doesn't want to talk with anyone and, stuff like that. But he's actually generally a nice character. Like, he has a good heart, and he doesn't be so dramatic when he's speaking to other characters. Like, he generally tries to be helpful to people, even though the first portion of the main story for him, he's kind of a slave, which is, not good. But,
Trying to find the quote you said exactly, for when we were bringing this up for Clive. Yeah, you said, and I quote, he's more like a serious and darker Cloud, and thankfully not in an edgy way.
Yeah, now I want to be clear, so I'm not sure if I might have made it sound like... I'm not saying Cloud is edgy, because I think Cloud's also a really well-written character. But, what I meant was that, he's not going to be a broody sort of anime character. Like, he looks edgy, and he could, your first glance at him, or even if you just played as him in Tekken 8, which is sadly how most people got introduced to this character. Because some of his intro with other characters, he does come off as a bit more edgier than he is in the actual game. Actually, there is one line I do love. If he talks to, like, I think it's Nimona, or saying, like, I can't remember which character it is, but she'll mention, like, how he looks like a cosplay character, and he goes, what is a cosplay? Because his games are set during the medieval era, so it's just kind of funny, like, when he starts questioning things.
Ooh.
Also, when I was going into this thinking Dante was going to win, I was quite surprised to realise, oh no, wow, I forgot how just overpowered Clive got near the end game stuff. The reason I probably forgot about that is, I'm not sure if this is a hot take, but, maybe more people think about this. I did think the last act of this game is perhaps its worst aspect.
I mean, with Ultima, right?
Yeah, like, Clive's story is a very simple one. He's about a character who wants to be this, like, powerful person, and to be, like, a good knight and stuff like that. The downside is, basically, the gods of his world are like, nah. But, eventually when he was given the power by Joshua, and he kind of proves himself and starting a rebellion against the corrupted politicians that are keeping magic away from the people, it's like, that's a very simple story. It doesn't have to go too crazy. Suddenly, God is here.
Suddenly, God is here to throw a curveball that no one asked for.
Yeah. Oh, everything was half fabricated. We planned all this. Like, don't get me wrong. The final boss fight is really fun, and, like, especially just punching the crap out of the main villain. But I don't know, this just feels like this wasn't meant to be part of... In fact, this feels as though it's more like undeveloped sequel, like, stuff. Like, maybe it was going to end with Clive defeating, like, his mother and all the other bosses. Spoilers, he defeats his mum. But then suddenly... oh, God is here. Like, it feels as though this is, like, going to be, like, a potential sequel to Clive's story. But then they realize, we might not be able to make it, so let's just throw it at the end of this game. Like, that's the vibe I always got from it. It just feels so out of place. Again, I might be in the minority when I say that, but, as personally, as someone who was really loving the game from start to end, well, start to somewhat end, it is kind of a shame that the ending, as well as, like, the final boss fight, while very fun to play, story-wise, I think it's just stupid. Again, I might be completely in the minority of that. But as far as this analysis goes, as much as I had issues with a little bit of Dante's one, they really did do Clive justice, where they went a bit more in depth to his story, as well as showing just the ludicrous ways that Clive is so overpowered. And hey, hopefully people got into the scene, the gameplay, and might want to check it out. I mean, Reese did.
And he will be known as more than the guy from Tekken 8.
Yeah, seriously, that pisses me off to no end. Like, it's not Final Fantasy like 16's fault. It's just when they were revealing the next Tekken DLC characters, and I saw Clive, I was like, Clive, yes! And all the comments were like, "Who's Clive? Who's Clive? Who's Clive?" I'm like, "Oh right, Sony, fuck you."
Unfortunately, like how a lot of people were at this announcement.
Yeah, I will admit, I'm not going to get angry at Death Battle referencing that because, you know...
Yeah, it's a meme at this rate.
It is a meme and stuff like that. And to be fair, he is fun to play as in the game. It's just annoying because...
At least they just had it in text.
Yeah, kind of like...
And they didn't make like a big deal out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they did that whole Byleth gag, like everyone's favourite Smash character, Byleth. And it was like, okay, that's funny.
That was funny.
Unpopular opinion, Byleth's actually kind of a badass. Yeah, like overall, like I thought Clive's analysis did him justice, and it did give me that hype, and I might even be tempted to remove Ghost of Yotei off my PlayStation just so I can replay the game again. For the record, I'm enjoying Ghost of Yotei, but there's a moment where I'm just picturing like, wait, Bill, you're removing me? You haven't finished me yet. It's like, yeah, but Death Battle did Clive, and, you know, watching the gameplay, I really want to play that again. Like, but
do that clip from Toy Story 2. Just like, Clive's cool, and you're just holding that game and just going, I don't want to play with you anymore.
That's basically what's happening.
Yeah, like... Yeah, like hopefully, like thanks to this Death Battle as well. I mean, we are hearing from even people on our server that are actually getting into Final Fantasy 16 because of it.
I think Clive had a really good analysis. Like it was handled really well.
Yeah, like they didn't just throw in like he's an edgy looking boy. They're like, no, he's a cool character, and I like that. I thought, man, what was your thoughts on this? Because I know you technically kind of knew a bit about Clive through like friends and that, but after seeing his analysis, is it tempting you to maybe want to pick up the game yourself?
I mean, probably not pick up the game, but if a YouTuber I like does a Let's Play of it, then I might check it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
To be fair, games can be expensive.
Oof, you're telling me, man, like, Jesus Christ. I'm so glad I got Xbox Game Pass. Like, despite a slight price increase, well, apparently only in America. In the UK, it hasn't really changed the pricing. Sorry, good old Trumpers. But yeah, like,
thanks.
You know, like, so many games these days being so expensive. It's kind of a gamble when you want to pick up a game these days because, you know, when most games were like 50 quid, which to be fair, I always still thought that was a bit extortionate. But if the game was good enough, then it's like, okay, you warrant it. But like, if the new Halo game that's going to be coming out soon, which I'm still baffled that's also coming on PlayStation, Jesus Christ, I give it a year, maybe God of War will be on it, like on Xbox. Yeah, like, it's a real gamble when you want to try some of these new games, because they're ranging from like 70 to 80 quid, and that's just for standard editions. Like, that is just insane. So, I can understand why some people are kind of hesitant and maybe wanted to pick up Final Fantasy 16, because I will say, the start of the game is very grindy, as well as very story-heavy cutscenes and that, but trust me, it does get fun after like 2 hours.
Also, I will admit, you bringing up the whole like Trump thing.
Okay.
It just made me think, like, we're buying a video game. It's basically like that scene in South Park where Luke Kim is going, I don't get by tariffs, you get by tariffs.
Oh god, I've been enjoying some of the new South Park episodes. But anyway, but let's talk about something that's also kind of hype. Unless, do you guys have any final says regarding this episode?
Final.
Alright then. Yeah, this fight was freaking awesome. Like,
yeah, it was.
Like,
Bruh, we had 4 people return for this animation. It's nuts.
Yeah, like, if you're a Death Battle veteran, then you obviously know Torrian's style, but Jesus Christ, some of the reactions of people who might be new to Death Battle, especially like, lately, I don't know what it is, but lately I've been getting a lot of VTuber reactions to Death Battle lately, like, and you know, in a way...
I blame Alara.
Yeah, well, not just Alara, like, so many other, like, YouTubers have been, or VTubers have been reacting to Death Battle, which is funny, because Death Battle was pushing up VTubers' algorithms, but in turn, because VTubers popular ones are looking into Death Battle, they're also pushing Death Battle numbers, like, it's like that strong arm, like, thing, like, you know, those two muscle men holding each other, like Death Battle VTubers, pushing the algorithm to their favor. Like, that's really what it is. But yeah, like, just them looking at the animation, some people were saying, like, my god, this looks like an official, like, animated video game cutscene. And, well, here's a fun fact for you people. That may be because Torrian's actually had the chance to work on video games.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously he's been on Death Battle, like, in the past. Like, that was pretty much his big, like, moment. And yeah, he got to work on the Jedi Fallen Order games, as well as Jedi Survivor.
Also, I think for the first time in, like, a long time, this is all Unreal Engine animation. Because Torrian doesn't work with Blender, obviously. But this is all handmade Unreal.
Yeah, like, I know there's been a lot of controversy regarding video game developers using the Unreal Engine, but like, look, people, this is what the Unreal Engine looks like on a minimum budget. Just think of what AAA studio games could do. Oh, wait. Well, regardless, you know, like...
look at what Sandco Interactive can do instead.
Yeah, like...
One particular scene I kind of want to call out when Dante pulls out those nunchucks. I remember seeing someone bring up...
the gun one.
Elemental. I saw someone bring up, like, hey, Torrian finally got to do the nunchuck animation.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Can you actually imagine with Torrian coming back, if he does another episode, he actually finally gets to finish that? Like, they just do one DBX episode and they actually get him to do the Sun episode.
It would be nice to finally see that come to life.
Yeah, apparently even Michael's even pushed for it a few times. Like, who knows, maybe if that becomes an official death battle, like, they bring Torrian for that and he can actually fully finish it. This could be a gag they do for it. Can it just be, like, the episode start off with, like, Sun just watching a YouTube video and it's the unfinished version? In, like, the new engine. Like, can you imagine being that meta? But back to this, though, like, you can definitely tell, like, not only just Torrian working his magic, but just, like, the amount of details they put into this fight. Like, I also want to give a shout out to the voice actors as well. Like, I didn't catch their names before recording this, sadly, but do you know what? If you...
That's what you got me for, me. We have Luca Xavier as Dante, who also reacted to this episode.
Okay, I did see his reaction, actually. But also, like, he really captured Dante's magic. I'd definitely say he captured more the mature Dante, because there was some comments saying, like, oh, Dante doesn't really sound like his classic voice. I'm like, well, you are aware this is the Devil May Cry 5 version of Dante, who has a very more mature voice.
True.
So it's like...
Also, I was also going to say Clive is voiced by Will Renzi Martin.
That's an epic name.
Yep.
And he voices someone Amber is fond of. Very fond of.
Who cares about that? He's been in Baldur's Gate 3, baby. That's what really matters.
Oh, really? Who did he voice in Baldur's Gate 3?
He's like an NPC you get to meet eventually. I think his name's like Lee or something like that.
Oh,
Funny enough.
I thought he was going to be like one of the like playable characters. I like the fact Sean's like makes like, oh, he voices a main character. Oh, Sod. Sean's like, oh,
I
Sod
think
that. He voices an NPC in a video game. Like, yeah, Sean. I think him voicing the main character is far more impressive.
I haven't made it that far in BG3 yet. I don't know if he's actually a party member.
I haven't even started that game. I only got to customizing my bugger character, and unfortunately, I did not turn off censor the genitals.
Nice going, genius.
I got to see Bugger's little bugger, and I'll never forget that image.
Funny is that this is a quote from Xavier as well. Like these two like know each other like really well.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's cool.
They've met and everything, and like Xavier also met Ben Starr, who is Clive's original VA, and said, and I quote, that Will sounded exactly like Ben. So
yeah,
dang.
Do you know what? He really does sound like Clive as well, because this is just a reoccurring thing from this year's Death Battles. There's been so many characters that they've had on that I'm just like, that just sounds like his original VA. Like, I mean, Death Battle have shown they can. I mean, but lawfully they've never actually gotten voice actors on, except ones that are legally allowed. But there are times they've actually had a chance of getting actors on. So, but you know what? They really did nail the voices, and even just the mannerism of these characters. Like, I do love the fact, like, if you just watch the fight and you didn't watch like the pre-analysis, just Dante, or when Clive responds to Dante, he says, when he goes like, "I've got a god to kill," it's just like, if you don't know about Clive, you're just thinking, "Damn, man!" I know they say reach for the stars, but you're reaching beyond the stars.
And then you've got scenes like Dante dodging lightning by moonwalking.
Oh my god, I
Who does that?
Do you know what's funny?
His name's Dante.
Exactly.
He didn't need to do that as well, because in fact, if anything, that actually hindered him more. Look, seriously, me and Bernie, like, we were laughing like crazy at that moment because we watched it together. Before I watched it, we both watched it together. And yeah, as soon as we saw the moonwalk, we had to actually pause it, rewind it, just to continue on. And it's also, for insult to injury as well, he then started freaking gun chucking the freaking like lightning bolts away. Like you would feel insulted if like one of your most powerful attacks was just casually dodged, and then as soon as it makes contact, he just deflects it away.
This team knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. In fact, I know we kind of was talking about the whole moonwalk bit, but just to go back to when they're like clashing with their elemental weapons at first, like, Jesus Christ, man, the fact the camera doesn't cut away or anything like that, it literally follows Dante as he's spinning on the thing, as he lights his foot on fire. I love the fact that if you slow it down, he lights his own foot on fire with the fire staff. Like, I mean, I know like he can heal and stuff like that, but imagine freaking burning your foot just to have your kicks do more damage.
That's just a case of Hotfoot.
Yeah, and then I even love this transition. Well, if you slow it, when the camera actually pans around to Dante with the ice thing, you notice the camera goes behind Clive just to hide the animation of them switching the models. Like, that is a very clever usage of like changing anime, because obviously it'd probably be expensive and just takes too long to have the staff itself change on the fly. But they cleverly zoom in the camera on some moments and even, cut behind Clive just to have him be holding a new staff. Like, that is a very clever way to like make it seem as though the staff is changing.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be clever with stuff like that. Yeah,
like, that was so smooth. Especially, I love the fact that Dante did the whole finishing pose with the Michael Jackson hat, just to be like, I think we made a gag about this in the past, when a character gets like pulled off stage, like, that's what it felt like, with the little cane, like.
You really did.
Oh, I love that. Like, Clive's like, nope, 0 out of 10, off the stage. And
he just started wailing on him.
Oh my god, yeah, that gave me like Shadow of Mordor vibes. There's like an ability you can unlock where instead of like stabbing an enemy on the floor, you can exchange it where you just multi-punch an enemy on the floor. I was just thinking, damn, Clive's been playing a bit of Shadow of Mordor.
My man went full JoJo with the Titan beatdown.
Yeah, I love the fact Dante, when he got punched in the face though, when he goes in slow-mo, Dante doesn't even look like he's in pain. He just looks more like he's surprised, like, damn, he actually laid a punch on me.
He's more inconvenienced than anything.
Yeah. Also, Jesus Christ, like, it's just funny when a lot of people's critiques about, I remember when they did like Wonder Woman versus 4, and they had to actually cut some things down because apparently the computer couldn't render like some of the explosions and stuff like that. Boy, if only they animated that episode now, because there's so much going on in the environments now. Like, a mountain's being blown up. Dante's riding down a debris while he's leaving a fire trail.
Bro, I just love the reaction Clive has to seeing that. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's no idea what bikers. Oh, if only he saw Dante like split it into chainsaws.
I know. I was a bit
He'd just
sad.
be like, "What the f?"
I was very sad that we didn't get to see that moment, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. Like,
Nah.
I mean, to be fair, they wanted to do the reference of slicing the raindrop, so I get it.
I know, that was so cool. Like, not many people actually knew about that, but yeah, it's literally identical to when him and Virgil were slicing raindrops.
It took me a couple watches to catch that.
Yeah, and speaking of Virgil, I like how Dante was just like, Virgil's got some competition before doing his Quicksilver. But actually, a nice little detail I noticed is that as the fight is continuing on and Dante goes into his Devil Trigger form, and you notice he's actually getting a bit more serious and stuff like that. Like, he actually reacts shocked when Clive outspeeds him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the most heated moment is when they're fighting in space, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, that shot.
Before that, did you guys see that that Torrian's like, I'm going to pull in another fighting game reference and have Dante do his super from Marvel vs. Capcom?
I did notice that as well. That was pretty sick.
It really was. But yeah, like going into space, like that exchange from Luca and Lil, like it was really good, especially like Clive's line before transforming.
Yeah.
Like, the devil cries for more.
Yeah, like I was like, I see what they did. Like, me and Bernie were literally like both went ha at the same time to that. But also,
And then when you see Infant Reason, you'd pull a mate and just go, "Ooh."
monkey.
That was literally mate in his reaction.
Yeah, mate was definitely like he was really enjoying this reaction. I think he definitely had the best reaction out of like bro and you, Sean. Sorry, Sean, but you've been dethroned of having the funniest
Oh,
reaction.
I agree with that.
Thanks, man.
Here, mate. Here's a little PNG crown. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna crop out the white lines. I can't be bothered. Yeah, maybe future.
He's
build
too
can be bothered.
lazy.
Yeah, maybe future build can be bothered. We'll see. But yeah, also, I know we kind of talk about the music at the end of the fight, but Jesus Christ, when they're fighting in space, man, the music just goes from like a pretty decent 8 out of 10 to a freaking 11 out of 10, man, with the freaking like guitar.
Brandon gave it everything he had for The Devil Inside. That's the track name.
I know, it's so sick. And even, again, they didn't need to add this, but the moment when they're clashing and you have like the square and the circle input like on screen. Like,
Oh, that was sick.
And you know what else they didn't need to add, but I'm really glad they did? After, like, that fiery spirit bomb, the explosion, smoking sexy style!
yeah.
Bro, I love some of the details as well. Like, in space, before like Clive charges, you do see his arm actually was damaged before it just randomly regens. So yeah, Clive did get damaged before just regen randomly.
Yeah. There was a bit, yeah, obviously you might have missed that, like, because they were clashing very quickly, you might have missed that moment when Dante managed to blow off his arm. I also just like this detail, like, just how, like, Clive's transformation is, like, 3 times bigger than Dante, yet they're both on even par. Because it's like, yeah, just because you're bigger doesn't mean Dante's not going to struggle against you.
True.
Yeah.
You're worrying about making yourself a bigger target at that point.
Yeah. This is kind of also just me being nitpicky, because we've never really had an Xbox versus PlayStation. I know neither of these characters are exclusive to their games. Well, maybe, you know, this will go into a rant I'll have later. I kind of wish when they did the little button mashing, we kind of had Dante with the X from the Xbox and, like, the PlayStation Square for Clive. Because whenever Devil May Cry...
Oh, yeah, that could have been a thing.
Because whenever Capcom always announce a new game and stuff like that, most of the time they always go to Xbox for it, which is really surprising, given the fact they originated on the PlayStation. But, you know, that's just a nitpicky, like, we could have actually had a chance of having saying Xbox versus PlayStation, really. Especially since PlayStation and Xbox are kind of moving away from exclusive these days. Like, I guess it's kind of hard to do Xbox versus PlayStation, really.
Plus, there aren't really any matchups where, like, that is a thing.
Well, why don't we do Master Chief versus the Killzone main character? Jacob was his name? Nah, seriously, people actually did request why not have like a Halo character versus a Killzone character, and I'm just like, well, that's because Halo characters would stomp them. And let's be real, who even remembers Killzone?
Hey, keep talking, I'll be right back.
No,
the triple S towards the end of that space clash was really good. I also just like, if you look close enough, you do see them falling from that giant eyeball. It looks like an eyeball because of where I paused it. I'm not even kidding.
You know what's funny as well? You could also make the argument like, wait, who got the sexy smoky style? And then you could just be like, yes.
Yes.
Like, they both got it. I guess now we need to get to the controversy of this episode, because boy, this episode got some controversy. Okay, I also like the fact both... It wasn't like a case like, oh, their final forms were going to finish off the opponent. Both basically beat each other out of their final forms. To the point, they had to use their last resorts with their swords to get, you know, the victory. And this is a cool detail for both. I like how when Dante says jackpot, or like strikes Clive, Clive actually says, please, for once, I need a little more. Which clearly implies that Dante's posed more of a threat than anything that Clive has faced. To the point he's actually asking for just that little bit more power.
Right?
Yeah. Also, this might just be me mishearing it, but when Clive throws his sword, he does that shout. My first time watching it, I thought he said, I need a drink.
He was saying, I need Ifrit.
Yeah, I know, but first time hearing that, because me and Bernie were pointing out, it sounded like he said, I need a drink, as he threw his sword. He's just, I need that Bud Light!
He said, we're gonna need a drink after this.
Yeah, obviously he didn't say that. When I rewatched it, I was like, oh, okay, no, he didn't say that, but... it's just funny to imagine, like, that last bit of energy, he just realised he was thirsty, and that's when he, threw the sword. I also kind of like Dante was given a bit of a respectful death, like, you know, he doesn't just have this dramatic scream as he gets, like, cut in half, and like, he actually acknowledges, like, Clive's a bit of a badass, and he just goes, not bad at all.
Yeah, I love those final two lines, because they both kind of respect each other, especially, like, Clive's final quote, like, that's just really showing how tough Dante pushed him.
Oh yeah, where he says, after a fight like this, that god will be nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, acknowledging that, yeah, Dante was, like, much more powerful than, like, than he expected. Which, to be fair, like, going into this, I really thought Dante had more advantages, but then it was like, oh, maybe Clive actually has more wins than I realised. Because, again, Sean actually did point this out, which, again, I do kind of acknowledge it, but I think this is just me forgetting about the ending of Final Fantasy 60. Yeah, technically, Clive also did defeat a universe-creating god, so yeah. It was just a fact as well. I was just quickly trying to write out my review, like, for the previous episode as well as my predictions for the next time. But now we're going to get into the controversy of this episode, unless you guys have any final says about the fight.
This fight genuinely is my favorite fight this year. Yeah. Luis was correct. This was the prettiest fight ever.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Or at very least, best fight of the year so far.
Yeah, I know we
got one left.
Yeah.
Right. Like, everything in this fight was so cool. The environment, the voice acting, the music, and just the ending. I loved everything about this fight.
Yeah. I'm still kind of leaning toward Master Chief versus Doomslayer. But obviously, I feel as though it's because they also had a really good analysis. But if I was just judging just a fight on its own, this fight and that episode are definitely neck and neck if I was to rank them. Now, in terms of the controversy around this episode, because surprisingly, lots of people were on Dante's side. People were, like, not saying Clive didn't have people, you know, also expressing how powerful he is, but let's be real here, more people are familiar with Dante, so more people know more about the more bombastic stuff that he's done in his game, so more people are kind of rooting for him, because, and this is going to go into my rant, because not many people really expected Clive to be as powerful. In fact, there are still people who say Virgil versus Sephiroth was rigged because Final Fantasy characters don't show how powerful they are. And there's still that debate about the whole supernova illusion, or if that's an actual supernova. To be honest, people, it could be both. Like Final Fantasy.
I will just say, my issue with the supernova scene, like, this is also mainly a joke. Here's how it should have gone. Sephiroth is doing his whole spiel about how he saw that Virgil couldn't pierce the fabric of the dimension, so he casts an illusion to disguise it, and then he just goes, wait, where'd he go? Because Virgil has a way out of it. Why didn't he just do that sooner? Why do you see the sun coming towards him and be like, yeah, I can take that?
Yeah, I mean...
Virgil's just like, I can take him. Virgil, that is the fucking sun.
I mean, granted, I feel as though definitely after Devil May Cry 5, Virgil could potentially survive an actual supernova. But, okay, but this...
Well, according to this episode, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, do you know what? Let's actually get to... Because obviously I was even pushing for Dante to win, because even though I was familiar with a lot of Clive's feats and stuff like that, I generally feel as though Dante has more consistent feats of defeating gods, which, well, he does, because Clive only has that one real god that he defeated, but I will admit, this actually goes
I
to my
think
other
more games would do that.
Yeah, this will go into sort of the criticism I had with the analysis. I was saying, like, before, like, oh, I have issues with the explanation. Similar to how they did Dante's analysis, like, it did feel as though they were rushing through them explaining why Clive could match a lot of Dante's feelings, because they say they could evenly match each other, but didn't really say that. They mostly just showed, like, both abilities and stuff like that, but obviously not, you know, viewers are listening mostly to what they're saying, so when you don't have, like, well, it's a bit weird. Like, you could argue, oh, because people aren't paying attention to the screen of them showing their abilities could match, then it's their fault. But it's like, well, no, you also need to explain, like, hey, how does Quicksilver and Clive's ability to slow down time, like, match each other and stuff like that? You know, because they did brush a little bit past a lot of Clive's weaponry, but obviously it's because Final Fantasy has a lot of abilities. So it would have done good to, like, explain that, as well as saying how most of their swords and weapons would evenly match each other, because it all came down to endurance, which I do agree with. But I don't.
Here's my thing about.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
About that, Bill. I kind of disagree with what you're saying, because yeah, people's attention spans are getting shorter. So yes, they kind of are forced to simplify it and just showcase things visually because of how content and how the internet's attention span, let's be honest, has become.
I will agree, like, especially in this day. I don't want to sound like a freaking, like, boomer at this point. I mean, I'm reaching 30, so
you don't want to sound like this, do you? You whippersnapper.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to forget I am approaching that sort of old age sort of mindset. Well, old age in terms of, like, you know, I'm starting to become those sort of people. Like, things were better in my day. But, you know, like, I think one of my critiques of, like, regarding the analysis, like, I do agree that Clive could win, but I can understand why more people would say Dante win, and I kind of agree they did kind of downplay Dante defeating a god and stuff like that compared to Clive. The one thing I do disagree with, though, on the analysis, because I don't think endurance was the key factor in this, I would agree, because I would actually argue Dante could actually win the endurance, because they tried to say Devil Trigger causes demon energy to be expelled, which, that's technically not true lore-wise. Gameplay-wise, it's completely different, because the actual creator behind Devil May Cry said, like, oh, Dante can actually canonically stay in Devil Trigger for as long as he can, which, funny enough, the novels and Devil May Cry 5 prove that, because they stay in their Devil Trigger. Like, apparently Virgil and Dante, when they're in hell, they've been fighting demons for, like, was it 6 months? I don't think it was 6 months, but it was definitely months in their Devil Trigger forms until they decided to go back into their human forms.
I think what people may not understand when it comes to that is the researcher of Dante needed to, like, prove that. And perhaps it's a case of, hey, Kirby Kid, who was Dante's researcher, couldn't prove what the lore matched with what we know of from gameplay lore.
Yeah.
Which is where Devil May Cry's primarily lore is the gameplay rather than, like, the novels and everything.
Well, no, I disagree on that, because there are not a lot of Devil May Cry novels, comics, mangas, and TV shows. Obviously, the Netflix adaptation is loosely different compared to, like, the actual mainline canon. But if we just start to the mainline canon, it is confirmed by Dante himself that he doesn't have to come out of Devil Trigger form, because it could be for as long as he needs to. Especially when he goes up against more powerful threats, he stays in it longer just so he could defeat the, you know, universal threats. So, but here's the thing that even though I disagree with, like, the whole endurance thing, I will disagree. I do feel as though there should have been another category, which was, you know, the main arsenal of their weaponry. Because yes, Dante has a lot of weapons on his side, but they all have their usage and stuff like that, which canonically, they do have limited ammo and usage before they run out. That and Dante has to switch to them manually in most fights, whereas Clive's abilities are kind of just natural and stuff like that. So, yeah, he had just had better access to his weaponry compared to Dante. You know, like that argument where, you know, with Bowser versus Eggman, you know, Eggman can do some crazy stuff, but only through different fortresses and space stations, whereas Bowser's all natural, baby. That's kind of the case with Clive and Dante, whereas Clive just has more natural powers on him at his disposal compared to Dante. So that's why I think that would be the key to his victory, because Dante can be overwhelmed and his healing factor can be overtaxed. But
The way I also describe it is, if you break it really down with versatility, Dante has versatility in quantity, not quality.
yeah, like I would definitely argue Clive has more destructive usage with his powers compared to like Dante. Because let's be real here, the Michael Jackson hat, while cool, that wasn't going to overpower Clive. But this is where I'm also going to go into why I think more people are annoyed about this episode and why the character, why does Dante not seem like he should overpower Clive? I think it's because Clive is just not as well known to the community compared to, like, well, Dante. And the reason for that...
I wonder if we've heard this argument before. Looks at last episode.
Yeah, and the thing as well is, I kind of blame PlayStation for this. The reason for that is because, technically, Final Fantasy XVI was temporarily an exclusive to PlayStation. Why is that? Square Enix have always had that sort of relationship with PlayStation where, hey, if you advertise our games, we'll make our game a temporal exclusive. I mean, originally they were going to just keep Final Fantasy VII Remake a PlayStation exclusive because, well, that's where the game was. PlayStation obviously agreeing to the deal. They only had one job they had to do. Advertise the bloody game. PlayStation barely advertised the game. It was barely put on billboards. It was a few YouTube videos, but if you were to actually look up some of the trailers, they're barely reaching millions of views and stuff like that, despite how popular Final Fantasy is. Even on their, state of play, which, let's be real here, when it comes to Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation having their game showcases, PlayStation objectively have the worst.
Yeah, because
But, they only teased Final Fantasy 16. You think to yourself, why did PlayStation not advertise this game so much? Even though, really, the game's amazing. It's perhaps the best Final Fantasy game out there. I mean, it's the latest one, so, it kind of has to be. Well, the reason for that is because PlayStation thought another game deserved more advertisement. Concord!
Oh, Lord. The game that lasted, 14 days?
Yep, but because, the sales... But, because at that point, Final Fantasy was already out and stuff like that, and Concord was meant to be their next big thing. Yeah, the game barely got advertised, which really does suck, because the game's amazing, but obviously because Clive doesn't have that mainstream appeal like Dante does, not many people may not realise just how crazy powerful Clive is. So, and this has happened before with previous death battles, like we have a character going against a more popular character, the more popular character loses, and people are pissed.
Looks directly at Booster Gold.
Yeah, exactly, because the people were trying to argue that, no, well, Cable could do this and stuff like that, where people don't acknowledge the fact, like, well, Booster Gold could also do these, and he just has a broken shield, and, he just had more hacks going on his side compared to Cable. So, like, as someone who's a fan of both characters, and who was going into this thinking Dante would win, forgetting about that crappy end in Final Fantasy 16, I feel as though Clive actually had more ways to win than even Death Battle said.
I think this debate, though, overall, I think was the closest one this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can see it.
Like, I can't really think of any more, like, really close ones. Not, I mean, I guess, Simone
Hulk
versus
Godzilla, maybe?
Yeah.
But
well, there's people still debating about that episode, really. Many people still saying Godzilla was robbed. Simone versus Kyle, that also was a very close debate, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Dante versus Clive, I wouldn't say it's as, the explanation was, because people are trying to compare this to Omni-Man versus Bardock, and I disagree with that. Like, I
disagree with that.
Like, yes, they did, like, maybe give Dante the wrong thing he was, like, I feel like Dante should definitely have endurance, but I do think Clive definitely has the more better arsenal and abilities at his disposal compared to Dante after rewatching the analysis. So, I think they just needed to explain their reasoning a bit better, but, as Sean's saying, and I kind of agree, like, maybe because they were trying to get so many facts about how these two are so even that because they were explaining it so fast, many people weren't paying attention. And let's be real, maybe it's because some viewers are still kind of butthurt.
Yeah, and something I want to touch on, I've spoken to someone about this a while back. I won't say their name. So the original Goku vs. Superman, the OG script was going to be like an hour. And they had to cut it down because, you know, no one's going to sit through an hour-long death battle.
Nah.
Though this person tried to advocate that maybe they should do it that length and explain, like, everything. And I'm just like, dude, no one's going to want to watch all of that.
Yeah.
Like, you might get a good few, but, like, the casual audience, they're going to see that length, get to the fight, and then just be done with it.
Yeah, which
They'll
sadly...
get to the fight.
Yeah, which sadly I actually done for another verse channel because they did like, funny enough, a mate request episode, Ruby versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I was like, oh, cool. When I saw the episode was nearly an hour and 20 minutes long, I was like, I'm just gonna skip to the fight. And even the fight was like nearly 10 minutes. I'm like, oh god, like Jesus Christ, guys, I want to support you guys because you're independent, but I get it, trying to go over every feat with these characters, but if Death Battle can get so many facts about Bowser and Eggman's army at a much smaller length, I'd much rather watch that episode. Yeah, so... Yeah, but I feel like they did explain most of like the important stuff. They just also kind of brushed over the more key aspects of, you know, the reasoning for their winner. But, you know, overall, a bit of a controversial explanation for their winner, as well as like, a very fast-paced Dante analysis, but overall really good fight and pretty good analysis on respecting both characters. I'd say this episode was a solid like 8 out of 10 for me. Do you guys have any final shares?
I just say I love this episode and it's my favorite this year so far.
Yeah, so far. Because, oh boy. Made again.
It's like the second time, mate, you've had a creepy laugh in these episodes.